afternoon, everybody. I have a special treat for us today, which is my very first returning guest in my 1.5 month long podcast. But we had to have you back. It's Earl the Pearl from Bravo's Love Hotel. I just feel like there's unfinished business. So hi, Earl. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm just so excited to have you back on because I feel like we just scratched the surface in the last interview.
Well, yeah, I guess we did. Now we get into the nitty gritty, right?
I mean, okay, so the show's been over a week. You've experienced kind of the aftermath of it. There's a little bit of popularity growing out there for you, Earl. I'm not going to lie. I got a lot of response to my little podcast when I tell you. And I have to say 98% of the people are like madly in love with you. I'm overstating it, but you really had an effect on viewers of this show. Do you feel that? Are you feeling any of that?
I am. I've gotten a lot of good responses, and people coming up and saying hi to me, or like I'll go into Publix and one of my friends will say, some girl just put up that she saw you in Publix, but was too nervous to come up and say hi, things like that. And in one of my acting classes, one of the young kids who's like 22 was telling his family about the different people in the class. And he said, yeah, this one Earl guy is really cool. And his mom goes, Earl from TV? He goes, I don't know if he's from TV. She said, look it up. He goes, yeah, that's him. He had no idea. He talked about it in class or anything. So
it's truly a phenomenon because these shows come and go. There's tons of competition, especially dating shows on TV. So I feel like there really is a little bit of a phenomenon around Earl the Pearl.
Well, thank you. I mean, I find it real sweet. Like he asked me to do a video for his mom. So I did a video in the acting class for his mom and he sent it to her. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Earl, you got to get on Cameo. You know about this Cameo, right? You got to do this.
I've heard about it, but I'm just having fun, so.
You can have fun for $50 and send. I think there's a lot of ladies out there that would love to get a little message from Earl the Pearl. I don't know. We'll have to think about this. We'll have to strategize your Cameo / OnlyFans, only.
Oh, no. Draw the line at Cameo, so.
All right. So, Earl, let's talk about you and Shannon. We saw you won the show. She gave you her key. That must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, that was pretty fantastic. I knew there was really only 4 women that were handing out keys, and I had only focused on one the entire show. And I wasn't really sure. I thought she would give me the key, but when she did give me the key, it was just a pretty sweet moment between us. So I got to admit that was fantastic.
I mean, you saw the other contestants who gave keys and who didn't. I mean, it was slightly surprising. Some of them, I mean, there were people that had a strong connection that I was surprised. Like with Giselle, I was surprised, a little surprised who she chose since he came in late in the game and that's who she chose. And it didn't work out after the show. So I don't know. I mean, I got her kind of her problem with the guy from LA that she had hooked up with, but it felt like they had a deeper connection. So I was a little surprised at some of them. So you and Shannon, to me, it was a little bit of a slam dunk, but you had the conflict at the end of the show.
Right.
So you didn't really know. And Shannon can be mercurial. You never know where she's going to go on a given day, right?
Well, any of us really, right? And I mean, when you're thrown in a pressure cooker like that of a dating show and you have all these things happening around you, it doesn't surprise you that there's going to be moments that maybe you're not looking your best. But like I always say, it doesn't define you in the end. People kind of like being around other people, right, that make them feel good. And if there's a hiccup or something like that, but 90% of the time you're making them laugh, you can kind of let some of that stuff go, so.
Right. So then after the show wrapped, take us through kind of that experience. You're not living in the same place, so you have to do a little traveling.
Right. Yeah. So we took it, we left the Love Hotel and then we decided to just get to know each other, and see where it goes. And we probably talked 4 or 5 times a day and did video calls, and her lifestyle is a lot more chaotic than mine was at the time. And so she's always in hair and makeup and going to this and going to that. But she'd Zoom call me and introduce me to everybody. And it was really enjoyable. I mean, we really got a chance to really get to know each other in each other's own environments, even though we weren't living next to each other.
That's true. You can do a lot remotely.
You can, especially if you take the time, and both of us really did. And so we came to the point where, okay, we'd like to see each other again. Should I come out there? Do you want to come here? And I had some pretty cool things happening here around Halloween. So she came here and I took her up to the lake, brought her to the yacht club where we have a tailgating event where all the members, if they went to certain alma maters, they'll set up a tent and have food from that university and a specialty drink and all sorts of fun stuff. And there's like, I don't know, 14 tents of different universities, Alabama, LSU, all these different things. And then there's a big cornhole tournament there. And so we played in that. And
you took Shannon Beador to a cornhole tournament and she competed in the tournament.
She did. And what was funny about that is there were times I could not find her. Okay. And, I'd walk away to get a cocktail or go use the restroom. I come back, I can't find her anywhere. And then I'd find 3 women that have pulled her to around the back of a tent just to have time with her alone. Right.
Oh gosh.
Be like, okay, I get this, and it's almost like they were busted when I found them, and it was hilarious. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I took her to a Halloween house party, probably like 400 or 500 people. And that was very cool. We got dressed up and went there. And then I took her to a Falcons game. And I tailgate in the Home Depot light right next to the stadium. And then I also have tickets to Delta 360 Club, so you can go right behind the players at field level. And it was interesting. Women would walk by and I could see them with this surprised look, but they would follow her. And then I turn around and I go, you got a fan over here. And then they just stick. I mean, it was so fun. I'd like step in the background, and take pictures of them and stuff. And because at that time, the show hadn't come out and we were trying to keep it under wraps a little bit. And,
right.
But then you see things posted online. People would send stuff. Shannon Beador was with this handsome man at the Falcons game, and I can't remember his name. It's a weird name, I guess Earl isn't a common name, so.
It was out there, it leaked, but no one probably knew. Obviously, the show hadn't come on, so they had no idea Earl the Pearl. That was you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, every place we went, it was like that. People knew of her, and you could just see the excitement in their face when they saw her. I mean, it was just really, really a cool experience.
Yeah, you saw a tiny glimpse of the Bravo experience. You have no idea how intense it can get. I mean, here you are out in the wild where you'll encounter some fans. Can you imagine going to something like BravoCon where it's thousands of people trying to get a piece of Shannon? It's a whole thing. Bravo fans are very intense.
Yes, I learned that. But, but then Shannon be just kicked back, laying down on the couch. The dogs are at her feet or she's petting another one, and we're watching a movie and it's just like normal people. Right.
Right.
And that was lovely. And then we go up to my boat and sit on the bow of the boat and just watch, people bringing in sailboats or ski boats and nice tunes. It was just really relaxing at the same time. So we knew when to get away, and
right.
We needed that time to kind of get away from that kind of excitement, you might say. And we really enjoyed those moments too.
Right. You're trying to get to know each other. The Love Hotel and the filming of that is not a normal situation. So this is it, normalcy. And that's where you really understand if you can last.
Yeah. I try to explain to people that they think it's just a normal environment and it's a total pressure cooker, right? I mean, you're in there. And I had it kind of lucky. There were only a few people that were going after Shannon to get to know her and stuff. But other guys, I mean, they kept bringing in more guys and more guys, more guys. Right? And I had it already kind of established, that she knew who I was and she knew how much I made her laugh and how I was there for her through a lot of tough moments that were going on in her life at that time. That really nobody else, I think, had the tools, especially the new guys, to handle. Right.
Right.
So we already had a real strong connection, and we did have some blips, but it looks like it happens like days apart. And we were there for like 21 days and had 2 blips, right? So
Right. That's a long
the rest
time.
of the time, which I'd say is 90% of the time, we were laughing, having a great time, getting to know her. And then I'd have to take a step back if one of the other guys wanted to get to know her and be respectful of that and let her make her decision. And she did. And I won. Yes.
No, Ashley Darby, that whole situation, those guys were probably, it's so awkward because you're also bonding with the men on that show
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. And then you have to be like, hey, bro, and then watch your other guy make out with it. Oh, you didn't have to do any of that. It was nice. I mean, I have to give Shannon a lot of credit for focusing in on you and being so respectful of you and that thing that you were building, because most dating shows that doesn't happen. You don't have that luxury of time. You have to make decisions. So I feel like that we have to give Shannon Beador some credit for zoning in, realizing what she had, and not really playing the let me just, is the grass greener, let me see what's out there. And then after the show, continuing things. So I think that's so far a nice story.
I think that's a misconception too, okay? Because probably the first 15 days or so, yeah, I didn't know what was going on. So there'd be times where we're spending time together, and then there'd be other guys talking to her and stuff. But the first 8 guys that came in, the Elite 8, we all respected each other so much. And what was interesting is that they noticed the connection Shannon and I had, and they didn't want to interfere with that at all.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
for that first group, it was me and Shannon and the rest of the 7 guys trying to get to know the women. But
Right.
the second group came in, and that's the one with Adam and I think it was Jason. And again, Adam was trying to get to know her as well. So even during that phase, that was kind of difficult, but I knew it was necessary because I wanted her to make a good informed decision if we would be better together than her and Adam, for example. And she did. Yeah, she made that clear. After that, it kind of got smooth sailing for me for all the new guys coming in, because she wasn't interested in really any of them. But it was more, could we get through the pressure cooker of the dating show, right?
Right.
And we did. I mean, there were tough moments, and we had to have some really tough talks. They didn't show all that, but I mean, we really had to have some tough talks. But even through that, we got through it. So much so that we dated for like 2 months after the show.
So you think during the show, you think there were times that either one of you could maybe have just said, you know what, this isn't going to work, but you stuck it out. And I mean, it's fine on the show if you decide you two, because there's so many other people there. I mean, you would have to leave, but what do you care? It's not like you need 21 days vacation. So it really is kind of admirable that you guys work through stuff. I think it would be kind of easy, especially for Shannon, just to say, you know what, I hit a bump. I'm good. There's all these other guys here.
Well, what I didn't know is what was happening, conversations behind the scene, right?
Right.
So when I saw that, that's what gave me kind of an ulcer every Sunday night when I'm watching the episodes. I'm like, oh man, they thought I should go home, and but I kept surviving. And the reason for that is we really had a good foundation. And
Right.
if you're laughing with someone 90% of the time, and you have, some things come up that are going to happen when you're in a pressure cooker like that, but you get through it, I think it makes you stronger too. And it makes you know that you can get through a lot of things, right? So just like any relationship.
So you don't hold any animosity towards any of the other cast members for telling Shannon, like Giselle, or for telling Shannon you should walk away?
No, because again, they're only getting a small snippet too, right? So
Right.
see your dear friend crying, and you barely know this guy who's only been in your life for like 7 days.
Right.
I could see why you're gonna side with her every time.
Mm-hmm.
But then they started to really get to know me because I was there the entire show, right? So they got to see me helping other people, welcoming new people coming in, kind of give them the ropes of what's been going on so they know what they're up against, right?
Right.
And then just hanging out and just talking and really getting to know each other. So I think over time, the women really, they liked me a lot more than they did initially, right? They just didn't, all they saw was their friend being upset. But then over time, they got to know who I really am. And I think that helped a lot.
Now, probably know by now who ended up together. I don't even know if anyone really ended up together, but was there anybody after the show that went on to break up that you were surprised about? Was there anyone you really thought had a great shot?
Well, I was hopeful for everybody, right?
Right.
And I'm in touch with those guys, and I have been since the show ended. So I'm not going to betray anything there, but I will tell you that when I thought Ashley and no, why am I zoning on his name? Ralph. I thought a chance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And once she made that decision, I thought, okay, because I could see how they were with each other. And I didn't see, it's not that I didn't think Wally was a good fit. I just didn't see them interact as much as I did with Ralph and Ashley, right? So I think either one of them would have been a great fit for her.
Right, same.
You're talking about two different lifestyles, right? And you don't realize how much that will impact you until you're in it. And you can't blame either person if they're busy or they can't take the time to really get to know each other, and life happens. So I think they're all really good friends still.
They are, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and they were so different, Wally and Ralph, that it's like either way she went, it was just a different way of going about it. But they probably, either one of them would have been great for different reasons for Ashley. I felt like, I mean, I'm always rooting for Ashley. I've met her in person. I think she's so nice, and I can't wait for her to find someone to really settle down with. But it does take a specific person with a specific life to fit in, because she is on the go. I mean, if you think Shannon's on the go, Ashley's times 100, because she is sponsorships and appearances, and I mean nonstop. She's got 2 little kids she has to support. I mean, she gets money, but the point is her lifestyle is very frantic as well. And as you saw with Shannon, it's not easy.
No, and I think Ashley was very, very sweet. Okay.
Right.
And she is she wears her heart on her sleeve, and what you see is what you get with her, right? But that she had a tough decision there, and like you said, she would have been a winner either way.
Yeah.
I was rooting for both of them, and they were kind of rooting for each other too, yet they were so respectful of each other. And that's the one thing about the first 8 guys, and some of the guys that came afterwards, they were really respectful of each other and didn't want to step on anybody's toes, including the women. Like you saw Ralph sitting there with Giselle and Ashley saying, hey, I want to see where this goes, and that I hope that's okay. And she's like, yeah, that's okay, so.
No, I like that. I think that's another reason why this show was so successful, was that there was this kind of wholesome thing going on with everybody, with the women, with the men. And you don't get that a lot on these shows. I don't know if have you tuned in yet to any of Shannon's past episodes or any of Orange County?
No, not since the show. No.
It's not that environment. She's constantly up on her back four. She is constantly on the defensive. It's a rough environment for Shannon.
Since the show ended, I haven't watched any of those shows. No, but I did the Golden Bachelorette, which she recommended for me to watch. She's like, you're going to see a lot of similarities with the guys on that show and how they treat each other and the guys on our show. And she was right. I mean, it was really amazing.
It's such a great formula. I think there should be more shows like this that cater to somebody that's not, 22 and trying to find love, because it's so unrealistic to think that at 22 you're going to make a decision that's going to last forever. So when you get to the people that are over 40, over 50, this is realism. Now, if you make a connection, you're not in it just to hook up. You're not in it for sponsorships or brand deals. And I think that's part of the reason. So now take us to your 2 months you've been seeing Shannon. You went out to LA at some point or no?
I did. I went to Newport Beach, and I got to meet Gene the Machine, and got to meet Archie. And I already met 2 of her daughters on the show, and they were there too. And Shannon threw me a really nice party with some other housewives that showed up, and their significant others. And so that was really nice. And I spent some time there, and then I came back. Like her, myself, 2 of her kids, and one of their friends, we all went to see Wicked, right? Yeah, and that was kind of fun. And then I came back here, and then eventually we came to the decision that we weren't like our forever person, right? And our lifestyles are too different, and we decided to just be friends.
So you think you'll keep in touch with her? Have you guys spoken since you broke up, or?
Yeah, we saw each other at the premiere, right?
Right.
And I'm sure we're going to stay in each other's lives in one way or another for a very, very long time. I mean, we had something special. There's actually, a hashtag Shannon and Earl, and
No, I mean, Earl, I think this is part of the reason we were all rooting for you. Not only do you seem like a good guy, but we've seen Shannon through her good and bad times for years. And even if you're not a big fan of Shannon's, you have to root for the woman. You have to want her to land with somebody that's going to nurture her. We've seen her through 2 very bad relationships on television, warts and all. And it's time for her to find someone who is nice and normal and sweet and loving and has a good heart. So it's disappointing that you guys didn't work out, although it's a little bit encouraging that she even went down that far down the road with you. I'm a little encouraged by that.
Yeah, I think if you look at the show again, you're going to see little moments where she's smiling a lot, right? And you could see her relaxed, and I could see it. I mean, I'm a very observant guy, and I could see when she would just relax when she's around me compared to somebody else. And that was pretty cool, which tells me that she's so tense all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to relax just for a little bit means the world to her. And it's not, she's not going to be a housewife forever. So, once she gets out of,
they go pretty far, Earl. I don't know.
I don't know either, but and I wish her absolutely the best, but doing something else, there's not going to be as much drama in her life, right? And so that I wish that for her, and I hope she finds someone that's just fantastic, that loves her for who she is, and her kids and her family.
Earl, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, do you get this often? Because you're giving me right now Kevin Costner vibes. Have you heard this before? I'm not kidding.
I've heard that before.
You look like Kevin Costner. What is Shannon Beador thinking? Shannon Beador, if I run into her at BravoCon, I'm going to have a few words with her. I don't know. I don't know if this was the right decision, Earl.
You might see me at BravoCon too, so.
Earl, are you serious?
You might, yeah.
Oh my God. It's a very chaotic but super fun. I've gone twice, and I met Shannon at the last one. It's definitely an experience, Earl. I hope they bring you there. They should bring you there. You're a walking advertisement for some good, wholesome content on Bravo. Now, do you have a good relationship with Bravo? Do you think they treated you guys right on the show? And
yeah, I think they did. I think it's for us being rookies with Bravo, show. You needed to take a step back from it, because you're not.
right.
You know what happened on the show, and they're trying to make it the most interesting show that they can. And so you might have a little criticism, but when you take a step back, they know what they're doing. They have a great product. They treated us so well. I mean, I really love the people there and the crew and everything like that. And I am so appreciative of them that they gave me the opportunity, because I was the last of the first 16 to get selected. Right. And
Right.
that's a little bragging right for me, because, I was the last one they selected, and I made it all the way to the end. Right.
Right.
I really appreciate that opportunity. And I have nothing bad to say about them at all. I mean, they made it so enjoyable when I was there, and they treated us very well, respectful, and they made me the cliffhanger like 5 times out of 8 shows, right? That was a little tough on my, with regard to anxiety, right? So,
Right.
but I survived it, and I thought the final episode was really beautifully done, and I wouldn't change anything. So
No, you are a slave to their edit, and so you have no idea what they're going to show, if they're going to paint you favorably. I mean, a lot of people blame the edit when they come across the villain, and you know how it is. You can't make up if somebody's bad or good. We knew you were good. Bravo showed us how good you were for Shannon, how reasonable, kind, patient you were. They also showed us some maybe qualities that you could improve upon. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm a fan, but whatever. but the point is I think felt like they gave you a generous edit in terms of screen time, in terms of, being kind in the finale. But of course they have to milk the drama. They have to show your bad things, or who's going to watch it if there's not anything to tune in for? If it's just a bunch of people that meet in a hotel and get along and then the show's over, what's the point? And there's no reward for winning that show. It's just you're really trying to find love. And they're talking about a sequel. I think for sure they're having another season. I've already heard the names of people being floated, housewives being floated for that show. Housewives and other Bravo people are kind of exciting. So I think this show is going to keep going. And then you can always credit it, go back and credit to you guys at the beginning group that got us all to watch it, got us all to love it. And as this show goes on, franchise, I feel like you guys can get a lot of that credit for that. This show could have flopped, Earl. There have been many, many shows before yours that no one cared about, that went one season, a few episodes. We never talked about them again. I really feel like this is something, it's going to keep going. And I hope you come to BravoCon because you deserve to meet all these people who are madly in love with you. And that is a lot of people, Earl. I'm getting a lot of messages.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, one thing I've really enjoyed about this process is being able to connect with people on social media. And, it's amazing. Some of the people where I really felt they'd be a good addition to my life, I gave them my phone number and they called me or I called them. They're like, I can't believe I'm talking to you.
That's how I felt. I was like, wow, Earl the Pearl wrote me back. I was like, hi, Earl.
I'm just Earl, and by the time I get off with the phone call with them, they're always like, you sound exactly like you did on the show. And I go, hey, okay. So, I mean, it's been a really rewarding experience for me. And if I meet more people, great. But I've met so many wonderful people up to this point. So that's been really cool and fun.
Well, I think that we have not even begun to see the last of Earl the Pearl. I just have a feeling. I feel like there's a magnetism and there's that honesty that you don't usually find on reality TV that I think is the reason you've resonated with fans. And I believe that there are going to be people out there who are going to want to capitalize on that, Earl. So we've not seen the last of Earl the Pearl.
Thank you. Yeah.
The next big thing you do, I'll have you right back on here, talk to you with Dee about Earl, who is the next whatever. Golden Bachelor? I don't know. Who knows? Golden Bachelorette, you could be a contestant. The sky is the limit, Earl.
It is amazing. There's you might see me again, I'm working on a few things and some real exciting things, and I'll probably be talking about them if they come to fruition. But I'm blessed, and I'm just taking it one day at a time. And I'm working on the acting thing, and that's just so much fun. And now summer's here, so it's boating time and vacation time, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. Yeah.
Life is your oyster, Earl. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and being so honest with everyone and talking to me. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, thank you so much, Thea. And it's a pleasure talking with you.
It's a pleasure, Earl. My pleasure. Okay. Have a great day.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.